myself join Nandan, and Nandan's also invited Coach Box, who works in the fitness industry, to bring in his perspectives.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nandan. I've been playing Ultimate for about 4-5 years now, and now I work in sport. So this panel is going to be about the business ecosystem and working within Ultimate and in parallel fields, right? So I'm sure there's a lot of us out there who feel like, okay, what should we do to go about having a career in sport, career in Ultimate, how to probably sustain a career playing Ultimate or being very closely associated with Ultimate. Now, for the past few years, there have been an increase in the number of opportunities around the country to be a part of Ultimate in several ways. You can be a coach, you can be a fitness trainer, you can be a nutritionist, you can be associated with management. There's a lot of opportunities that have opened up. And here in our panel, we have a lot of people here who have been doing things related to Ultimate or sport in one way or another. And we would like to try and give you a perspective of what they do and how they went about getting there. So what I will do is I will try and direct some answers, direct some questions at the panel regularly, and we can try and get some answers from the panel. And if there's any other questions out there from people, you can of course chime in. Yeah, sounds good. So we will start off with introducing ourselves and giving a little bit of an idea of where we figure into Ultimate, our playing career or managing career within Ultimate and how we're associated with Ultimate. Yeah?
Hi folks, I'm Renalini and I'm here today representing the operations team of UPAI. I've also been playing for 8 years. Yes. Yeah.
Uday Kumar, Srinivasa. I've been playing Frisbee for 6 years. Currently I'm working at the Quad Fitness company in Chennai and operations team. And in the past I was doing Frisbee coaching at Surat, Chennai.
Hi, I'm Manex. Currently working as part of the operations team with Nirangani. So I also head that operations team, so I'd like to give perspectives about working in a kind of a sports administration setting and what opportunities they provide to all the players. In the past, I have been associated with, I'm still associated with a couple of different NGOs in Chennai that work with sports for development, and that also provides avenues for employment for Ultimate Frisbee players, so I would like to share some of those perspectives as well.
Hi, so I'm Sudarshana. I'm an independent nutritionist. I've been playing Ultimate Frisbee for the past 10 months, and currently I'm the nutrition coach for the pickup team Masala Chai that's going to be going to Amsterdam next month.
Hey guys, I'm Danish. I work with a company called Playo. It's a tech company which enables sports. So we're not a sports company really like the others, we're a tech company. And I'm an Ultimate baby, just been a year and a half since I started playing. It's only Ultimate today.
So we've seen a little bit of, we've heard a little bit of where you're from and what you do and how your company is currently connected to Ultimate. But we'd like to understand a little further about what your roles at the company are, or what roles you're doing right now, and what is the extent of the roles you're doing right now, and how it kind of excites you or interests you to keep doing the roles that you are doing right now.
Alright, that's the question. So, in the operations team, we spend a lot of time. All of you know how the UPI is formed. You know, there's an EB and there are about 8 committees, and 8 committees have different things to do. And the ops team basically works to execute a lot of their work. Knowing that all of these committee members are volunteers, the ops team made up of Manix, myself, and Sumesh, who's not here today. The 3 of us are the only full-time employees of UPAI currently, and so we have all our time to execute actions that committees ideate and want to execute it for UPAI.
I'm currently working in a fitness company in an operations team where I talk to clients, nothing related to Ultimate Frisbee, or the quad. But I started training at the quad, like Entrepreneurship gave me a scholarship athlete spot. So at the quad they have a scholarship athlete where they'll give training experience to athletes who are interested and committed. That's where I got this opportunity, and I started working at the quad. And of course, Entrepreneurship, and I'm the director, and many people work there. Knows Ultimate. We talk more about Ultimate, and that's what we do there in the free time. But other than in the past, I was doing full-time frisbee coaching job at Surat. When I was in Chennai, I was working at Ultimate doing frisbee coaching, and even my first job was with Pudiyado coaching kids. So in all 3 jobs, I had coached the different age groups. So even now, currently with squad, but doing team India coaching. And quad, I mean the show, and the nutrition coach Anupama is for the team India, is also from the quad, my colleague. So we often talk about it.
So Mrinalai covered most of the stuff that I work with her on in UPA. So not that. It's pretty much like what she said. Essentially, like what we do, all 3 of us kind of share the multitude of tasks that the UPA has on its plate every day. But I'd like to share my experiences with when I was actively running an NGO, which Fox mentioned, Pudiyado. In that, Pudiyado is actually one of the best throwers in Indian Ultimate. His name is Sanjay. He's a Pudiyado product. He went to Pudiyado. He, as an after-school program, he started playing Ultimate through the Pudiyado's S40 program. And his first coaches were Pudiyado teachers who literally had just started throwing frisbee at that time. But then that opportunity, like now Sanjay is one of the most, according to Fox, he's one of the most creative handlers in Indian Ultimate. And he's on the team that's going to China as part of the Team India grass team. Why I'm talking about Sanjay is Pudiyado opened the doors of Ultimate for him. But not only that, his potential future star players, but also it opened the doors for many Ultimate Frisbee players to come on as coaches. So Box was one of the coaches, but his expertise was maybe he didn't want to talk about it himself, but he's really good at talking to people. So when as a coach you have to do that obviously. So as he was actually the Pudiyado's community expert. So he was making connections and relationships with the community where Pudiyado was working. That was one of the frisbee players, the Box, had that opportunity. There were many frisbee players who came to Pudiyado to work. Ganesh Murthy, Prana, we had even Praveen Rocket, he has coached Puridur kids. So many Frisbee players in Chennai had the opportunity to, while they were college students, would come to Puridur as interns or would work part-time. And that is still ongoing. There's another NGO called One All, you will hear about it from GI later on. They also still hire Frisbee players, and they invite Frisbee players to join their team to teach Frisbee to other kids, and that's like a proper job. So I mean, as we go on and talk more about with more questions as well.
The challenge that I faced is like when you're a nutritionist, you're always looking at people individually, catering to their needs and what they require. But when it comes to a team, it's a whole different ballgame because there's 23 people who you have to handle all at once. And at the same time, you make sure that you don't give something same to them because then they'll think that I'm just giving a copy-paste chart. But at the same time, they have different cuisines. Like in Masala Chai camp, there's people like Varun who's used to a North Indian cuisine, and there's AP and Sumesh who eat only rice. So how do I make sure that I say something which is common to all of them? So that is the thing. And also, I wanted to spend time with the team. So last weekend when they had a camp at Auroville, even if like I didn't go there to play, I went there just as a nutrition coach. I had a private indoor session with them, got them understand what their body composition is and what they should eat in general. So in a group, that was what I could do most. And then apart from that, some of them came up to me individually asking about their doubts and to sort of sit down with them and ask more about how they can improve themselves. So nutrition, more than forcing it on them, it's about how every individual takes it up. So I can't go force someone to like drink this or eat that. I can only explain to them the importance and how much of it is going to benefit. But after that, it depends on how much they are going to take it and incorporate it into their lives. Because I'm not going to be with them 24/7 cooking it for them and giving it to them. So it's every player's responsibility to make sure that they make wise choices when they eat their food.
So I work in the marketing team at Playo. So Playo was a platform built to bring the urban adult to play a game, right? So we either lose, we don't have time to play, we don't know whom to play with, we don't know where to play at. These are problems which we face. So this is how we started, and Ultimate Frisbee wasn't a sport we focused on at all. We started off with the biggies of badminton, cricket, swimming, of sorts, and eventually I think players from Tix got in touch with me. We in fact just ran into each other, and I joined the team with an agenda to get Ultimate Frisbee onto Playo, but it happened the other way around. But what's come out of it is there's players helping Ultimate in a way where we are helping them find grounds, find new players who may not even have heard of the sport before. So that's what we've been doing with Ultimate so far, and also giving it a small platform. Definitely, we are not a very big company right now, but wherever we can. So Decathlon loves the Ultimate 5 tournaments that we do at their centers. That drives a lot of sales also, so they value the tournament a lot. So the sport is getting a lot more focus, and recently we've had a few brands referring to Vans as a brand. Vans sort of owns skateboarding. So similarly, a brand wants to own a sport now. So there are talks about slacklining, Ultimate Frisbee, rugby, which are sports which can still be owned. And this is an opportunity for a sport like Ultimate, and hopefully we can, aid a brand or get Ultimate to a place where it becomes, a nice sport to invest in. That's where players heading.
I did realize I have been involved in sport as well, not directly in Ultimate Frisbee as you guys, so I will share my perspective on how we've been involved in sport. I work with a company called the Center for Sport and Management Studies. We started about 2 years ago, our objective has been to provide any kind of sports consultancy in the fields of sports infrastructure, sports coaching, and sports management education. What I do for the company is manage a lot of the client side. My roles include trying to get clients on board for different programs. Right now, one of our biggest arms has been sports management courses. So we have curriculums that we recommend colleges to follow. So I've been recently involved with trying to get a lot of business schools on board to try and get sports management education across by providing some opportunities for students who come out of the program. Apart from that, we also try and build sports infrastructure in places that do need it, because we go into colleges and we find that a lot of universities don't get involved in sport as much just because there aren't facilities available for it. So we try and bring in experts to provide facilities that will ideally facilitate sport within that university and try and promote it there. With regards to sports coaching, we do something very similar. We try and build curriculums for sports coaching, which can be then used by schools or colleges wherever there is a need for it. So that is how I am involved in sport as at the moment. To move on from this, we'd like to understand, a lot of you have gotten to where you are right now by doing something. So we'd like to understand what kind of experience that you need before, or what kind of pathway you took to get where you are right now. If there's education involved, or if it was just working in different places until you figure it out. Just like to try and understand what that was.
So I'm an environmental conservationist by career choice, at least up until 4 months ago when I joined the UPI. So no direct educational experience leading up to this position, but like I said, I've been playing Ultimate since 2011, and I've been extremely passionate about the sport, of everything that it brings to the table. And so wherever I've been working, studying, working, I always found time to play Ultimate. Even living up in Valpara in the southern Western Ghats, I traveled just for tournaments to play with Star 7. I mean, one, because they needed women, but because I really wanted to play, and that's as much commitment as I could put in at that point. So then I decided more Ultimate was required in my life. So I basically made the shift to Chennai, and this opportunity opened up. And so my past work experience in project management certainly have contributed to being able to work in this position, but no actual education in this field. Just passion.
Clearly no education for me, at least I can talk on. So when I was doing college, I was very sure what I don't want to do. I was very clear with what I want, but I was very clear that what I don't want to do. I was doing basic computer science, and I know I'm not very good at computer. I learned how to turn on the computer in college. So that's how it is. I just went to college because parents forced me. And I wanted to be an actor or sports person. That's how my college is there. But by the time at the end of college, there was a campus interview, and my parents forced me. I got selected. Out of 7 people, 7 means many people gave the interview. 7 people were appointed. I'm one of them, and I told them no, and I told my parents I didn't get the job. My father was very. I'm sure you will not be watching this. Till now, they don't know that I liked them, because I know that I don't want to do that. So I was very clear with what I don't want to do. Of course, Manik's chair helped me to coaching at Puriyadar. That's how it started. So again, I was not much in frisbee coaching at the time. I was doing frisbee coaching because they paid me and I'm doing frisbee. What I'm doing. So that's how it started. Then later I really liked it. I started focusing more on frisbee coaching. Then I got an idea of what I want, where I want to spend my time. And then of course Team India coaching, and I moved to Surat for 1.5 years. I was coaching. I was a full-time coach at Surat. So I was coaching all club teams there. I make plans for the Surat ultimate teams and tournaments. So that's what majorly I was doing at Surat. Now again I moved to Chennai, and of course parents who is not happy when I'm not earning more money, not more enough money for the family. That's the main thing. So I thought I need to do something. So I was looking for a job. I don't know what to put in my resume. Everything is coach, coach, coach. But I was in a situation where I was asking help from my friends who play frisbee, and everybody's giving confidence. No, you're a team India coach. You do everything, but I know no food at my plate. Mother is not giving me food if I'm not going to work. So it was tough. But then finally, I know that there is a job opportunity at the quad. Actually, Arvind Ashok, he's the head coach, one of the head coach at the quad. He offered me to train at the quad at the scholarship training thing. But I also asked him. I noticed there's a job vacancy, can I apply for it? So of course he was hesitant initially because it's not only about the job. I'm also doing frisbee. So I have to take a decision whether I'm going to do frisbee or this. So I decided, okay, in 2019 I'm not going to do any frisbee thing after 124. I told him this is my plan, and that's what I did. I was focusing only on my work. I didn't do anything else. But now we both often talk about ultimate at office, and Arvind Ashokana is fitness coach for Team India and coaching, and Anupama Ganesh, who works with me, is the nutrition coach for Team India. So that's how it's going. But yeah, I was very clear what I don't want to do, but now I have idea what at least I want.
So my background is in engineering. I went to college to do structural engineering. I have another degree in another engineering, and I worked in another engineering domain. So I was a civil engineer, aerospace engineer, and an automotive engineer after that. So quite a confused engineer. But I worked in the automotive engineering industry for more than a decade, about 13 years, and then I played Ultimate for almost the same time. As soon as I started working, I was playing Ultimate, and I used to live in the US and work in the US, and that gave me that flexibility to be able to play a lot. I used to play almost every day. So that was kind of the lifestyle that defined my employment choices. So I wanted to work in a place which would let me play Ultimate. I think that's common for all of us here. We make life choices based on Ultimate Frisbee, right? So we make it as part of our lifestyle. And so, which is kind of why this pattern makes sense. So for me, when I came back to India, I ran R&D division for another engineering company, solar energy engineering company. And again, I found myself with more time than I thought I would have, which was lucky. And so I ended up playing more Ultimate. Company kind of closed down, and I had a lot more time. I didn't want to work in engineering anymore, so I thought maybe I should do Ultimate full time. And so I kind of decided to do that. Very happy doing that. It's very fulfilling. A lot of things that I learned in engineering, I work most of the time that I worked as an automotive engineer, I worked for Toyota. Toyota has a very different way of approaching problem solving, and I used the same approach when I came back to India in my job, and kind of gives you some, I think, breathing room. So it's the way you manage your time and manage people and build relationships and not see it as different from work. I think it's based on a lot of respect for people. Toyota is known for that. So I think that translates really easily to Ultimate Frisbee because it's SOTG and spirit of the game. There was no difference for me mentally to be somebody else at work and be somebody else in Ultimate. So SOTG helped me be a better manager at work, and so I think it translates back into now managing Ultimate is my work, and so that kind of nicely played into each other. So I think my engineering background, my project management, people management background, got better with Ultimate, and so that really helped me a lot.
I did my bachelor's in nutrition from Women's Christian College, Chennai. I joined the course only because I didn't have anywhere else to go, and plus my brother said it was related to food. So only when I got into third year did I realize what nutrition is and how it can impact. So I've been a basketball player since I was in the 4th standard. So I know how an athlete feels, how he thinks, what goes on in your mind when you're playing. So I thought, let me integrate both. Let me integrate nutrition and sports and see what can happen. So I was very adamant that I would pursue my master's only in sports nutrition, and there was only one college in India in Bombay. So I even told my parents that if I don't get into that course, you get me married. I'm not going to do anything else. But luckily I worked hard, I got it. So since I was been playing basketball, I always had to do something like an activity of sorts. So when you go to Bombay, they didn't have a basketball court, so I was into martial arts, and then I had to move back to Chennai. And 1 year I was here, I was trying to find something that I could do, and then Ultimate came into my life. It's personal, but yeah, so I suffer from depression. So I've been diagnosed with depression over 3 years ago. And Ultimate is kind of become a way through which I can channel my emotions and the restlessness that I have. So in December, January, I couldn't play because I had high fever and illness. And in those 2 months, I realized how much I needed to get it out, how much I had to touch the disc and just go play and be with people. And slowly at work also, they realized that I was prioritizing Ultimate more. And some people even came and asked me, are you going to be a professional? I was like, no. And then I wanted to manage my time better and also at the same time give back to the Ultimate community. So that's why I resigned my job there. And then I was talking to the masala chai team manager Raghu, and I was like, I would be interested and everything. So that's how I came on board. So being an independent nutritionist, I just started in May. It's like just new, but I thought why not go spend my time, give back to Ultimate, because I realized we're all growing, we're going to national championships, and nutrition plays a very important role, especially playing 3 matches or 2 matches in a day. You need to recover, you need to be able to quickly switch off from recovery to on. So I realized that it needs a lot of education, just like how Ultimate skills need to be spread throughout. Nutrition is also an important aspect for any sports person or in general, anyone who's doing Ultimate, even for recreation. You have many people who have cramps and then they have dehydration and then who have to take a break from Ultimate and come back, which they don't like. So to make sure that there's an active nutrition awareness being spread is why I decided to bring nutrition into Ultimate also.
I represented football professionally for Coromandel 5th Block 4th Cross. Nothing more than that. But I've been an athlete, love sports always, and that's my sports background, that's about it. And then my marketing background, no marketing background again. But what I realized was there are a lot of other people who know more than me. So how do I meet these people? Okay, how many of you have heard about the sports expo in Mumbai? Anyone who attended it? No. So I saw one Jumbish, a player with a Jumbish who walked in, and I was happy to see finally an Ultimate player, but it wasn't his jersey, he had got it for a badminton tournament or such. So I did this in the start of my startup journey where every weekend I would be at a startup meetup. Make sure I meet people, network as much as possible, and about 80% of it would be crap. But it's still something, so I know I shouldn't be doing that. what these guys are preaching, maybe I shouldn't be doing that. So similarly, I'd say, as a sports professional, if you're moving ahead, be present at these meetups. So Hyderabad had a sports expo. I didn't see an ultimate player there. The Mumbai Sports Expo. You guys, the Mumbai teams had their sections then, I guess. So I guess you guys weren't there. Yeah, but I did expect more people to join because there's a lot that's happening in other sports that we got to know about, and there's a lot of money that's coming into those sports, and we've got to know how that money is coming in because that's how our sport can grow, right? So let's be present, and it's not. I'm not talking about let's know about the EPLs and the IPLs, but do we know what's happening in the super division of football? What's happening in the district level badminton tournament? How are they running successful tournaments with about 600 participants? So money is coming in from somewhere, people are interested, and for us 600 is a very small number. We can pull in 600 people for any tournament. So why aren't, what's hard for us, what's not working for us? Can we meet these other sports enthusiasts, sports organizers, and learn from them? If we are not doing it ourselves, then how can we? Is what you should do. That's been my journey in marketing, and I think I can replicate it in sports too.
In comparison, I think my experience towards an employment in the sports industry has been quite textbook. I did start off with a computer science background and then switch when I saw the opportunity to coach tennis at the school that used to host the Bangalore Ultimate Open right outside Bangalore. Then I noticed that there are people playing Ultimate there, and then I picked up Ultimate. I made one layout at one point, and then I was completely sold. I knew at that point I was going to continue playing this sport for a while. And as things progressed, I figured I wanted to take a bigger role and make a slightly bigger difference in Ultimate or in sport in general. And I decided to take up a course in sports management, and I did I just finished my master's in sports management in the UK. And then once I did the course, I noticed that there can be a lot of opportunities in a lot of places, and I figured I'd come to India where we need to make a lot of change, and where a lot of this change is really required to try and put myself to good use here. And I found somebody here who previously employed me, said they're starting up a new company and they need a person who can try and coordinate things for them and kind of direct where they're headed. And that is how I figured into Ultimate and sports industry. So it was really interesting to hear each of your experiences. Now, with your experience and with your education and everything that you had, and the way you figured into the sports industry, you must now know, with respect to Ultimate, what India very specifically needs, or Ultimate in general, where you think value needs to be added. How a person watching this, or one of them out there, can figure themselves into it, because there must be a lot of avenues right now available and it's still too open. But in your opinion, if Ultimate as an industry has to grow, where do you find most value and why?
I don't think we should start from Ultimate. I think we should start from other sports and then bring that to Ultimate. So let's face it, Ultimate is small compared to other sports, and the opportunities are also finite. So doesn't mean that I have a football background in football, the 5th cross team. So I can host a football tournament, and during a football tournament maybe integrate the Ultimate workshop, right? So because it's easier to pull people for a football tournament. So similarly, don't restrict yourself only to Ultimate. Move out, explore other things, and bring people back. Because Ultimate has that power. I haven't seen this the power in other sports, but Ultimate definitely pulls people in. But I think that's not the first step. I mean, you take someone, go to someone with a disc, they literally mock you sometimes. I mean, you're like, this is something which I used to do in the park. I'm not playing this sport anymore, right? So, but can you get them into friendly territory first and then maybe bring them to Ultimate? And similarly, career-wise too, don't look at Ultimate only as an opportunity, but look at sports as an opportunity if you're considering sports, and then eventually it will come back to Ultimate because your loyalty lies with the sport. You will bring back whatever it is from another sport to this sport.
So how I see we can incorporate nutritionists. So now the national teams have their own nutritionists. They'll be working with them for 7 months, 8 months, and then they'll be going ahead. I look at more like when you have a regionals or a sectionals where a large group of athletes are already together for a particular reason. Why not have like a nutrition seminar or a workshop or have someone over there so that people who are actually interested or who have any doubts. I understand that there are many people with a lot of different queries. Like they have so much to know, so much to ask, but they don't have somebody to ask to. Because nutritionist is still coming up, it's still like recognizing, they don't know who to go for to help. Most people go to their fitness trainers or gym instructors because they feel, because they're not aware there are other people specialized in the field. Soon, so in the UPA right now there's like a coaching committee, a competitions committee. So I would soon like to see even a nutrition committee in place so that they also, so along with Ultimate, they also promote good nutrition values, and wherever Ultimate is going, they take this along with them so that they can incorporate it to the players. So basic nutrition, why I say is that most people, if they start playing, they don't last above like 30 years unless they're like exceptionally fit or they continue. That's because, no, I mean in general, like if you take pro sports, there are like a lot of people who don't last above like 28 years or 27 years because they have injuries or other things happening. So if they had focused on nutrition at an earlier age, they would have been able to prolong it to like further in India especially. So as we grow Ultimate, if we make sure that we inculcate proper eating nutrition habits, it's something that's going to be long term. It's like even parents would be interested in sending their children, okay, so there's Ultimate, it's coming up, oh my god, they have something like this also, so our children are going to eat better. So it's like they would be more attracted or be more supportive of sending their children to places which not only teaches sports but also something apart from it.
So I'll try to cover some topics, and I think Rinalini and I might overlap, so we'll just kind of chat about it. What I think, I mean, just kind of tangentially from what Danish said. I mean, my experience in sports or sports management or sports governance, administration, or the boring sounding words, has been only with Ultimate. And from that aspect, from working for the promotion of the sport, I think Ultimate has definitely parallels with our sport, like football or cricket. Like, you know, we need to find partnerships and sponsorships just like other sports. But I think there's also like something different which we all kind of don't know how to put our fingers on. But there's something different about Ultimate, and it gives a certain, I mean, all these boring sounding things, like the administrative things, which, you know, for me as an engineer in my previous life, I didn't care about. I didn't care about paperwork or visa processing or whatnot. All of that is, you know, it's important and it becomes critical, and somehow it actually touches many people's lives. So then it becomes, you know, you're passionate about the sport, and therefore you're willing to do this. I mean, I hate doing paperwork, I hate filing my own taxes, but you know, I do it for Ultimate. And that being said, there's, I think, a lot of opportunity for both people looking for jobs as well as people who want to start businesses. Just from my experience as having a lot of information passed through, my know-how from understanding different relationships and past partnerships that we've had from the UPA side. I think there's huge potential for anybody with a little bit of organizational skills and good communication skills to start a business and simply even thinking about just providing good jerseys would make you lots of money with not too much effort. There is an industry out there. There are teams like we spoke about this morning. There's going to be 116 teams next season. Just thinking about the jerseys about that, just there is a huge opportunity. As a small business person, you can just simply get that going, and even do it part time. In my opinion, honestly, I wouldn't do it because I don't care about it, and that doesn't excite me as much as maybe governance does. I mean, for everybody, whatever tickles your pickle. But if you're interested in affair, if you're interested in starting a business, I mean, there's opportunities. And there's also plenty of opportunities out there in being part of an NGO type of situation, right? Like where you are interested in teaching and being with young people and helping them, mentoring them. If you're in that mindset, I think there's lots of NGOs out there, and that's again part of our UPI's strategic partners. We have over 8 partners that we work actively with. We spoke to Jenny this morning about our partnership with an ant. They require not just coaches but also mentors, and they're willing to pay you for that. There is Akshay and Amna here. We're going to talk about their organization soon, Project Care, that's based in Lucknow. They've just recently put out an advertisement to hire a couple of people, like 2 people. So, and they're willing to pay good money for that. In Lucknow, I've heard it's a pretty good place to go to. I've been there and I've been to their organization. I'm shamelessly plugging their organization now because I know that they're good people, and we've had, I've heard good things come out of that organization. Really great energy, and if you're looking for a job teaching alternate, being with young people and wanting to teach and mentor, that's a great place to be. And you can go and talk to them. Likewise, there are many organizations like that that the UPA partners with, and if you're interested in working for these organizations, absolutely reach out to us, reach out to Mrinalini or me or Sumesh, we'll put you and connect you. And so there's still lots of opportunities. It's not just elite coaching, because I know airbenders, they put out an advertisement for looking for elite coaches, like high performance coaches. And that's a different kind of coaching. I know Sumesh, who works with us in the UPA, he also coaches the club team Quail. Sumesh is over there. Hey Sumesh. So he's Quail's coach. Quail is an up and coming team. You'll know more about them tomorrow. And they're going to be talking to you about how their club team works. And Sumesh actually coaches them and gets paid for it. So all of these opportunities exist, and maybe we don't know about it. So it seems like Ultimate's very narrow focus, but it's not. I think this conference is one of those places where we want to bring awareness to that existing opportunities. So please come and talk to us.
I think I made a mistake of giving the mic there. Thanks, and I share all my points. Of course, I can think about coaching. I thought I'd talk about coaching. But yeah, like Manisana said, I think there is lots and lots of opportunity on coaching. It's not only coaching the national team or aiming to be the national team coaches, but of course you can learn from the coaching experience, apply for assistant coach, head coach, learn from the experience. But I can definitely use it in a day-to-day life. Like I know many of my friends working in IIT coaching, Frisbee, and so that the college students doing part-time coaching jobs. So the opportunity is there. All we need to do is just invest the time in coaching and trust what you do and do what you like. That's what I think. Invest the time. Maybe like when I started coaching in 2015, I was assistant coach for under 23 team. I was learning many things from that team. I don't have any place to go experience. So at the time Shurikens, the beginners team was there. I personally went and asked them, can I come and coach your team? No payment, nothing, but I want to practice this, I want to get better at this. So I would say take this as a learning opportunity initially, and the opportunities is already there. So yeah, investment is very important. Trust is important.
It covered everything. So as I said, I work with the operations team for UPAI, and UPAI is constantly growing. And as it grows, a lot more opportunities keep opening up, of course, as we get more long-term backing from long-term XYZ companies, long-term support. I think more positions like Sumesh and I have will start opening up in the future, and that's the hope, because that's what we need to succeed more than we already are. But at this point, I'm sure folks may have seen UPAI internships positions opening up. So students finishing school, coming out of college, taking a gap year, this is a good time to like try it out. Come intern with UPAI, learn what the ops is doing, see if you like what we're doing, and then you can do gap year doing various things, and this is an option. Oh yeah, like Sudarshana. Sudarshana is a intern. Latest intern. Pending EPU. Anyway, so that's one option. But they've covered NGOs, coaching, nutrition. Another big opportunity in our field is fitness. And a lot of my friends, all of our friends, are fitness trainers in big companies, big, small, all sorts of fitness business setups. And I have a story from Manoj, who plays for Sol 7, who's also captain for the Team India going to China. And he just couldn't make it last minute, and he wanted to share how he was a mechanical engineer, a naval engineer, and he started, I think the unit opened up a free training slot for Star 7 players in 2013, so that was 6 years ago. And for a year and a half, he was just training and training specific fitness-related training for ultimate. And by then he finished his college, so second year of college till he finished, he was training at the unit. And when he wrapped up, he was like, I like this, I like doing fitness, I don't like engineering. And so he started working, so since 2015, he's worked at 3 different fitness companies, establishments. And right now he works at the Quad. I would say he's a fabulous player. And he's a fabulous coach, so I mean, a fabulous trainer, I would say. Actually, Chi is one of them who receives personal training from Manoj. And from my personal experience or interaction with Manoj, you see how he's a great trainer. So, yeah. I said that. He works at the Quad. He works at the Quad. He works at the Quad. Yeah, so fitness is a huge industry for folks to get into or under.
So we are bashing down engineers quite a bit, but you can, if you're an engineer, you can still be an engineer. Sports tech is a huge opportunity. Please don't, you don't have to, I mean, there are many other opportunities, but please, sports tech is also big, it's huge, and it's unexplored in India. So please also consider that.
So I have a very different perspective than what all of you were talking about.
Yes.
So, hi, my name is Sunil, and I consider myself on the fringe of the ultimate community. I'm part of Puyo. I think even they would say that I'm not part of the core team. Yeah, but so my point was, and I get where Ganesh was coming from. The sport and the community itself, if you look at
why money is not coming in, why companies who work at large corporate, we look at bang for the buck, right? We look at where there's maximum coverage, where my brand is seen the most. But if you look at growth within Ultimate, I think a lot of the people present here represent that goal. And one of the questions to Box was around how many new players are you seeing year after year who are actually playing the national team? I would think about 85-90% are repeat players. So where is that growth coming from? Bangalore has a great red community. People who just want to come play without getting into, I want women in my team, rostering and NCS issues and sectionals, regionals. So there's Airborne has multiple teams, Airborne does have 3 teams, Stall 7 has multiple teams. But that's also towards just more teams competing and winning, right? The whole concept about growing the sport has to be about getting more people who have not touched the disc to touch the disc. It ends there, right? That should be the goal. And I think what we're talking about here is it's kind of moved away from that. After a point of time, it stops being fun. That it becomes so competitive, and we want to get to lineups and roster and gender ratios and things like that. And I think that's where the growth comes from. And I think other cities must take a leap out of what Bangalore is doing. And just come and play for the heck of playing. Chennai had that and we lost it a little bit. But so I just wanted to give that perspective that I think is important for just growth of the sport. Before we get into even business of the sport, and for business you need numbers, and I think that's where we need to focus on. Just my thought. Thanks.
I just wanted to add how UPI and Frisbee has actually changed my life career path as well. I studied and practiced as an architect for 5 years of my life, after which I started playing Ultimate Frisbee. Out of the blue, actually, Meghna called me and said, "Hey Ghana, I think you have great managerial skills and you can co-manage the women's team with me." I had never applied for the post. It was basically another person I was meeting probably for the first or second time who told me I could do this. And I absolutely loved it. So much that I applied to coach the U24 team as well. And that made me realize I don't want to go back to designing and being an architect, but to go and manage sports teams, which is almost a U-turn from what I did in life. And recently, I wanted to start working again because I've been unemployed for quite some time now. And I wrote to UPI and said, "Hey, I think whatever I did, managing teams, conducting tournaments, whatever it was, I think that's a great experience and that would look great on my resume. And I would like to put it out there so my future employees can see this." I got a letter from UPI saying that yes, Ghana has represented us, she has managed teams, she has done so much work for us, and I added that to my portfolio. And trust me guys, I've had 10 companies write back to me just for this and saying, "Come interview with us." Because we love what you're doing with this community. Big companies, BFC has offered me a job for this. Community companies to be community heads, the Tamarind Tree, which is an event management company, and I have no background in management. And I think this is amazing because this is still creating job opportunities and giving us new directions to go work at. So I would like to thank you guys for giving me this opportunity as well. And this is really nice. So thanks everyone. Thanks.
Okay, I think we're running a little close on time, so I'll try and wrap up what we covered there. Now, one of the biggest reasons why coaching kept coming up again and again, and like Sunil rightly said, for Ultimate to have a business ecosystem, there needs to be a lot of people that relate to it. Now, so we need coaches who can convince players or convince people who haven't played Ultimate or heard about Ultimate to come play. That is why we need different coaches to provide different programs. Some people want to take it up competitively, some people want to do it recreationally, some people want to do it just for the fitness of it, some people might just be sold because of the SOTG part. So, which is very very, very necessary. So it becomes necessary for different people to have their own character, bring their own idea of coaching into it and try and provide as many solutions in coaching as possible so people can take it up. People or schools or anywhere, they can start playing more Ultimate. Of course, there are other fields in Ultimate which can sort of help grow Ultimate, the ecosystem, like sports analytics is a huge field that's coming up right now. There's a lot of data that's being collected, and data is really, really useful at very highly competitive levels. And this data is being sold. Data is actually being sold to teams and players and coaches to use for the sports technology. That there's significant amount of research going into sports technology. So people who are interested in sports technology can study and get into sports technology, or do engineering and then try and get into sports technology firms. Then there is sports nutrition. Of course, it's going to be useful for at different levels. As a nutritionist, I'm sure you would be giving different kinds of solutions for players who are training towards performance or people who want to just keep healthy and fit. So what we're trying to, when we're trying to wrap up, I'd like to say, well, there are a few things that Ultimate does teach you that you can keep with yourself, that automatically qualify you for a lot of interesting job experiences. And if you look around within the Ultimate community, I'm sure there's a significant amount of help and guidance that you can find. There's a lot of literature on whatever you are interested in. So if you reach out to anyone on the panel or any of the names mentioned during the discussions, I think you'll find yourself very happy to be closely associated with Ultimate. I'd like to open up the floor for any quick questions. If anyone is interested in getting into Ultimate or sport, business side of it, work in Ultimate.
Physiotherapy market, we haven't tested it. How about physiotherapy market? But sports could manufacture. Manufacture. I'm actually beaten in frisbee, so I don't know the value chain of it, but it's inside. So if there is an opportunity that is not explored, if somebody is ready to explore, certain point of time there are few players are also facilitated.
So nutrition in general was also like not explored in the beginning. So there were people who played like Anupama, me, and there are other people who were nutritionists who started playing and then realized that we want to give back to the community. So I guess if there are people by profession who are physiotherapists who are introduced to the sport and who want to take it up, they'll definitely, at that time there will be more scope and there will be more people. So that's like Sunil said, it's about having more people touch the disc. So there are different kinds of people. That's when like they come up to help the community. I understand that, so if you're looking at it in terms of making money, are you looking at it in those terms as to approach people and ask them to come in? It depends on individual interest. I came up on my own. None of them asked me whether you want to be a part of it. So from my point of view, it is very open. There was no restriction as such. Like they were like, no, you can't be or anything. It was very open. I just had to come speak to them. Can I do it? They said yes, definitely, and that's how I came on board. So that's like how a new person completely coming in. So that's my point of view.
I think physios, that question is a really awesome and relevant question. As Ultimate players, and or at least in my experience, I've been to a physio many times, probably because of Ultimate. So I think there's a lot of business opportunity in physiotherapy because of Ultimate Frisbee. But like Sudarshana said, if we can introduce more physios to Ultimate, like right now, the physio that I've been going to for years understands Ultimate better. Like he would tell me, don't do this because it's going to affect your, shoulder for throwing, or this is going to mess up with your wrist. Most people don't need to go to physios, young and healthy individuals, but as the playing population matures, like we have more people playing, there will be more tournaments, there will be more injuries. In many tournaments in Europe and US, you have automatically a physio 10. There'll be like 10 physios in a good tournament, and you can go, you'll probably have to stand in line when you get there, and they will give you, between games, they'll give you treatment to be able to play a game. So there is definitely that kind of advanced high performance physiotherapy opportunities there. We just need to explore it, I think. You can definitely, I know that the quad has its own physio, for instance. So I think there are lots of opportunities for tailoring it to Ultimate, and Ultimate is definitely provides some unique opportunities, which is different from other sports. We have different kinds of injuries. I mean, ACL tears are common across the board, but there are other injuries which are specifically related to repetitive throwing motion, which is different from bowling, for example. So it's different. Specialists are required, I think, in my opinion. About the other question that you asked, what sports goods and performance wear. I mean, just in my experience, like Ultimate Frisbee is very easy on the wallet in terms of what sports gear we wear. I know a lot of Ultimate players like to dress up in skins because they look like professional athletes. But a lot of people do get performance advantages from that as well. Sometimes it's psychological, and that's okay. If it makes you perform better, that is an advantage. Sometimes KD tape is a psychological advantage. It might help you feel like you're going to play well. It may have nothing to do with anything, but it may help you. So that way, I think there is compression gear, there's sand socks, there's headbands, there's sleeves, there's full shorts and jerseys, hats, caps, and gloves, which you'll see in this conference is going to be a theme. We'll talk about gloves. But all of these are possible, and the two companies or organizations that are not here today because they couldn't attend is 91 Ultimate and Y Ultimate. These are two Delhi-based organizations, and they actually make performance gear. They make gear, I should say, which is related to Ultimate Frisbee. Like for example, the Under 24 team that Fox was talking about that went to Perth, and they were outfitted with custom sleeves for the entire tournament, which was customized with their numbers, and that was made by Y Ultimate. 91 Ultimate was last year's apparel partner for the national team, and they provided the gear. So all of these are again opportunities. I think tremendous opportunities are available. More so, if you're good at making gear for Ultimate community in India, there's no numbers in it. Sunil's absolutely right. It's a total of maybe 2,000 people who would buy it. I'm not saying there's more people who play, but then you look around and see what other countries' club teams are buying. They're buying similar gear to us for like 3 times or 4 times the cost. So if you're able to find a niche there, and you have a good business from there. So that's an idea to explore. I just wanted to add one more thing about coaching. Here in Bangalore, there's I think Naveen Zen. He's here, yeah. So Naveen and his friend Arvind, who's not here today, they run a school. Is it cool if I talk about it? So it's a little different. They are coaches. They are not elite coaches like boxers. They're quite, like kind of hobby style frisbee players. They're not elite level players either, no offense. Okay, so they love playing Ultimate, and they love the culture that Ultimate brings to kids. And so they actually run an after-school program, and they charge kids for it. So the parents and the kids are fully into it, and you'll meet some of these kids tonight. They'll be coming for the training, the coaching program in the stadium. And these are kids who can get good, but their parents don't really care about them becoming great ultimate players. The parents just want them to be doing something, while they can maybe watch Netflix or something. I don't know, but the parents want them to be engaged in some activity, just like you would want to go to music class or karate class. So the parents are sending them to ultimate frisbee class. And that's another opportunity to be a coach and make good money from it. In fact, Arvind is fully employed as a coach for an after-school program which teaches ultimate frisbee. That's his source of income. And so I think if he can do it, and he doesn't even play that much ultimate, right? And if he can do it, and he's saying, I have lots of time, I can go to Korea, I can go to this tournament, I can go to that tournament, I'll go coach these kids, and that's good enough for me, and that supports my lifestyle. Why can't you guys do it? You can totally do it. It requires some networking, it requires some connections, it requires some maybe presentation, it maybe requires certification from the UPI. All of that is easily available and it's free. And if you say to us, if you come to us and say, I need help in going and talking to the school, trust me, we will come with you. We will provide you the tools that's required to take that business opportunity forward. Because for us, it's a win-win. You want to make money and you want to play ultimate and you want to watch Netflix when you're not doing that, great, and make money with that, awesome. We get more ultimate players. That's what we are here for. We want to grow the community. So it's a great win-win. Take that opportunity, come and talk to us. Yeah.
Any other questions on that? Okay, I think that will be a wrap for this. We hope you found this. Thank you.